Hi guys, so I had a request from some of our students today in the 4th grade. How do you make a cootie catcher? And I found myself making about 7 dozen of them before the end of class and had several different disappointed people because I didn't have time to sit at my desk and do it for them. So I promised that I would make a tutorial video so that we can kind of see how to make a cootie catcher. I've actually only learned this in my last year of teaching because sadly I did not understand how to do this, and then as an adult I learned for a project and I went, oh, that's so easy. So I'm going to show you under the ladybug here. So hi guys, you're going to be able to see what I'm doing. This is what the students see in class. So we have a document camera that sits up on my desk, and I have a tape border so I can figure out when I get out of focus. So I think we should probably have it pretty well aimed. I see tape on all 4 sides, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so for a cootie catcher, the very first thing you need is a square piece of paper. And the easiest way to do that is with a piece of computer paper. And I'm going to line up the edges here because I'm just going to make a square out of a rectangle. It's a very easy thing to do. Now I'm using colored paper so that hopefully it's easier to see on the camera. Sometimes with the white everything blends in, but it seems like the green's going to do that too. So my goal is to get this off. Now you could either put it on the edge of a desk and put the edge right up to the corner and then rip it, or you can take a pair of scissors. I'm going to use scissors right now just so I can do it on camera. I like to rip things better because I'm quick at that, and I've gotten pretty good at that after lots and lots of practice. Alright, so now I have a triangle. So a triangle, when I unfold it, opens up into the square that we're going to need. So this little bit right here, we do not need that anymore. That can be a nice bookmark for somebody. So it's already folded in half this way. I'm going to fold it in half again from corner to corner. Just like this. There we go. And then I'm going to open it up. So now you should have this nice big X in there if you can see it on the video. There we go. So that X is going to be your guideline. So right now the very first move after is to take this corner and meet it into the middle. More nicely that you do this, sorry I was distracted. The more nicely that you do this, the better your cootie catcher is going to line up. So I'm going to put this corner right on the middle of that X, if you can see just a little bit. There you go. It'll line up exactly with the middle, so that point exactly on the middle, and I'm going to take my fingernail and smooth it along the edge so it's a nice sharp fold. And I'm going to do that to all 4 corners, trying to line up this edge of paper as close as I can without overlapping. Again, the most important thing on this is to make sure it's nice and neat. If you're not nice and neat, it's going to kind of bunch up, or it's going to catch where you don't want it to catch. Even though it's a cootie catcher, you don't want it to catch where it's not going to catch. So I'm lining up the edge so that it's almost perfectly aligned, or as close as I can get it, and still not going past that middle mark. A little gap is okay. I just don't want to go past anything. Better to be a little too short than a little too long. Alright, so you can see that since it's popped up and there's a shadow underneath, you can see that that is as closely lined up as I could get it without going over. So now this is always the step I forgot as a kid, which is why I was always so confused. You flip it over and you do that one more time. There is a slight fold, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but right here and right here from that diagonals corners that we did before. I'm watching myself on the computer as I'm doing this, so I'm a little distracted watching myself. So right here, you're going to take this corner and go to the middle again where there's a folded X. You can kind of see it on the shadow there. So I'm going to do this one more time. So this into there, this corner into there. Again, not going past the center as much as I can help, trying to line these up as close as I can without going over. Craftsmanship is going to be a big thing. The more picky you are about how it's folded, the better it's going to work for you. If you're not picky about it, it may not work at all. So you're going to want to make sure that you are doing this as best you can. Now this didn't line up very well, I'm not sure why, but that's okay. I'm just going to let that have a gap there, and I'm just going to make it flush, which means right up side by side, flush against the side. I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I have that now, which is just those corners folded in from the other side. And actually, believe it or not, my cootie catcher is almost ready. There's just 2 more steps. So I'm going to take this And this center line right here across the triangles, I'm going to fold it in half. And you should see two little flappy doos here. And then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it in half again into quarters. And it's going to look like you made a great big knot of nothing. But when you open this back up out of those last two folds, what you did was you trained the paper. So I'm going to open this back up, and I'm going to, from this side, I'm going to flip it over and go to the back and make sure that I see the solid squares. When I see the solid squares, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak my finger up inside, and that's where you put your fingers in the cootie catcher. You can already see one of the triangles forming. So I'm going to take these two. This is the trickiest part to get lined up the first time. And I'm going to pinch inside, I'm going to pinch my fingers together like this to hold those two together. So now those are held together. And while I hold those two, I'm going to grab this one, pop it out. If it bunches up, just kind of egg it along in the right direction. And then I'm going to take 3 fingers and I'm going to pinch those together to make those 3 triangles hold. And then this last one might be a little tricky just because it got folded the wrong way. I'm going to try and loosen up a little bit here. There we go. And then once I get that flap open, I have the chance to smash those all together. And that's the bottom of the cootie catcher. So that's where you put your fingers. And then at the top, on the opposite side of where you put your fingers, you can see that the cootie catcher. So when I operate this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this way, pinch this way, pinch this way, pinch this way. And if you do that, it's going to look like you have the cootie catcher going. And then you would write your information on the inside. So if I was going to have a cootie catcher, and I actually have one because we used these for projects last year, which is how I know exactly how to make these. We made these cootie catchers. They were pre-printed, so I didn't really have to work that hard. But same principle. I'm going to stick my fingers up underneath. And then we used these for art critiques. So we had partners, and we had to talk about an art piece. So we had to pick a color. So if the color was red, you go R, E, D. You pick a number. So let's go 2. 1, 2. And then you pick another number. So let's say 7. And then I have these printed so that underneath number 7, you see how did the artist express an idea. So they had to talk about how the artist expressed the idea in the picture. That's kind of how we used them in the art room. It was just a fun little intro activity, but that's how you make a cootie catcher. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I will make sure that I make an answer to you as fast or as easy as I can in the comments. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you guys later.